My wife asked why I moved the shovel from the garage. I didn't move the shovel, and the backyard looks different. I was making coffee Sunday morning when my wife Petra came inside from the garage looking annoyed. She asked why I left the shovel leaning against the back fence instead of on the wall where it belonged. I told her I hadn't touched it in months. She rolled her eyes, saying it didn't walk there itself. I followed her outside. The shovel was propped against the fence near the corner of our yard. I stared, feeling something cold crawl up my spine. Then I noticed the ground. There was a patch near our oak tree that looked freshly disturbed. The grass was gone in a rectangle about 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. The soil was darker, like someone dug it up and filled it back in recently. I asked Petra if she noticed that before. Her face changed. She said it wasn't there yesterday when she was gardening. We walked over to look closer. The dirt was loose and soft with boot prints pressed into the edges. Someone dug in our backyard while we slept. I wanted to call police, but Petra said check our security cameras first. We installed them 2 years ago after neighborhood break-ins. I pulled up footage and rewound through the night. At 3:47 a.m., a figure appeared from the side gate we always kept locked. They wore dark clothes with a hood pulled low, hiding their face completely. They grabbed our shovel from the garage and walked directly to the spot under the oak tree. Then they started digging. For 2 hours I watched this person dig a hole in my yard. They went deep, maybe 4 feet, based on how much they disappeared into the ground. At 5:52 a.m., they climbed out and dragged something heavy from behind our shed. The camera angle made it hard to see clearly, but it looked like a large wrapped bundle. They rolled it into the hole and spent another hour filling dirt back in and patting it down flat. Then they left the way they came. Petra gripped my arm so hard her nails left marks in my skin. We called 911 immediately. Officers arrived within 15 minutes and we showed them the footage. They called for backup and a detective. By noon, our backyard was a crime scene with yellow tape stretched everywhere. They brought excavation equipment and started digging where the footage showed. I held Petra on our back porch while we watched them work in silence. The detective came over and asked if we recognized the hooded figure. We didn't. He asked about enemies or neighbor disputes. We had none. He asked if anything strange happened recently. Petra remembered our side gate was unlocked 3 weeks ago. She assumed I forgot and never mentioned it. I remembered muddy footprints on our patio 2 weeks ago that I blamed on a neighbor's dog. Last week, our motion sensor light stopped working, and I kept forgetting to fix it. Someone had been preparing for this. They unlocked our gate in advance. They tested walking through our yard at night. They disabled our security light. They planned every detail carefully. Officers stopped digging around 4 p.m. The detective walked over looking pale and asked us to come to the station. There, he explained what they found buried 4 feet down. A body wrapped in plastic sheeting and duct tape. Female. Deceased approximately 1 week based on initial examination. No identification yet. He asked if we knew anyone missing recently. I mentioned a coworker asking about his sister who stopped answering calls. I mentioned a neighbor whose daughter supposedly moved away suddenly last month. He wrote everything down carefully. 3 days later, they identified the body. A woman named Colette who worked at a grocery store on 5th Street. She was reported missing 9 days earlier by her roommate. I never met her. Petra never met her. We had zero connection to this woman at all. Someone chose our backyard randomly to bury their murder victim. The investigation took months. Boot prints matched a common work boot sold at dozens of stores everywhere. Plastic sheeting traced to a hardware chain with hundreds of locations across the state. They interviewed everyone in our neighborhood and found nothing useful. The killer was never caught. We sold the house 6 months later at a massive loss because nobody wants property where a body was buried. We moved across the state and installed cameras on every corner of our new home. I check them religiously every single night before bed. Sometimes I still dream about that footage. A hooded figure digging methodically in darkness while my wife and I slept peacefully just 20 feet away, completely unaware. Whoever did this knew our routine, knew our blind spots, knew exactly how long they had before sunrise. They are still out there somewhere right now. Maybe watching another family's backyard tonight. Maybe planning their next burial while innocent people sleep upstairs trusting their locks will keep them safe.
Click the link on the homepage to watch the full follow-up for free.